Good evening, everybody. This is Ron Tucker coming at you one more time from my office here at my home. Welcome to another edition of At Ron's Talking on YouTube. I want to thank anybody who's taken the time to look at my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. A few likes would be gratefully appreciated as well. So thank you very much. I hope everybody's having a great day or great evening, depending on where you're living at. So, once again, it's a chance for me to just kind of reflect a little bit on what's going on in our country. Obviously, we're on the brink of a momentous and major election that's coming up, a consequential election that's going to determine pretty much everybody says. I have no major doubts on it, but I know we will survive no matter what happens in this upcoming election in about another 2 or 3 weeks. But definitely in the corner of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, and I'm pulling for them as hard as I can. That's why I do this on a regular basis, just to spread the word and let people know what's at stake. We're dealing with a veritable maniac, lunatic, con artist, criminal, convicted criminal, two-time impeached former president who still believes for some reason that he's worthy of being president again. And he had a bite of the apple once, showed what he was all about then. I don't see any reason for anybody in their right mind that's got any kind of semblance of sanity left to even consider voting for this man against the obvious choice right now, which is Kamala Harris. Donald Trump has no business being anywhere near the White House until he turns over those secret documents. And I don't know if he has or not, but the damage has already been done. He's already sold us out, and I think most people who understand what's going on with that type of deal, after 2 years of holding on to those documents, he already took care of that. He's taken full advantage of what those documents are worth and what it was worth to him, and that was to sell us out to the highest bidder. Okay, my take, my opinion. I just don't think I'm too far off, but that's just me. I was just looking at some of the dumb people that's running around this country, and a couple of little stories I want to share with you. One was a former NFL football player who decided that, I guess 10 years ago when he was still playing, he was going to, I guess, rob I think it was a marijuana dispensary, I believe, because he had got hooked up with a lady that worked in the place, and they became an item. And I guess his NFL career was waning, so this genius decided to become a robber, a burglar, if you will. So he took the criminal route, and he plotted with the old girl because she worked there at the dispensary, so it was more or less an inside job. And they mapped out everything and plotted the heist. And so what happened was, he left the facility after they carried out the heist, and it was to the tune of about $1.5 million in cash. And he put the bags on his shoulder. Everything was on video as well. He put the bags on his shoulder like he was Santa Claus and left the facility. Well, he found out that all his football training, though, didn't help him because that weight was taking him down and it was too much for him to handle. So he dropped the bags of money underneath a tree about I think about 700 yards from the facility that he stole the money from. So anyway, make a long story short, he got nabbed, and the reason he got busted was he covered himself up from head to toe, all dressed in black. But this idiot decided to inadvertently leave his gloves inside one of the bags. And that's how they pop DNA. And his girlfriend, who, they nailed her. And of course, you know what she did? It's time to start squealing like a pig. She told the feds everything they need to know, and she called up her boyfriend, told him, "Stupid, you left your damn gloves in the bag." And he got, so how are they gonna find out anything? He didn't know the authorities were sitting right next to her when she was talking to him, and so just wrapped up the whole thing. They popped him, gave him a slap on the wrist, basically. Gave him a year in prison. He only served 7 months. She pleaded out because she ratted him out, so she didn't get nothing but probation. But just dumb, stupid people. Another individual that's kind of dumb, besides Trump, is, well, this person is a former. Well, no, I can't say he's former. He's still a official police officer, but this involves the shooting of a black man who was running from the police, and they shot the guy, killed him, shot him in his back, Jacksonville, Florida. Shot him in the back, and as always in law enforcement, it seems like no matter where the county or city is around the country, they could shoot a black man, and they always seems like, well, it was justifiable according to the police officers up higher, because they're going to defend the cop no matter whether he was right or wrong, and they determined that the shooting was justified because the black man, he had a prior criminal history. I guess he was the only one in America with priors. So, like I said, they justified it. They tried to clean it up for the cop. I mean, it's just so interesting that this police officer, of course, he came with his traditional standard of, he pulled a gun out on me, so, I had to take care of him, basically. Find out that the guy, through the police body cam, guy didn't pull out a gun on him. He had a gun on him, but he didn't point it towards the cop, didn't threaten him with it, nothing. And so here they are, talking about, well, it might take a year for them to fully investigate it and find out the actual story. The actual story was, it was on video. They didn't show, and it wasn't shown, it wasn't seen that the man had a gun that was pointing at an officer. So why was the officer talking about he was fearing for his life or something like that? It's always the same story. Different players, same story. This is how it is. And our country is we're just chock full of law and order and equality for everybody. And they don't want nobody to get educated. They don't want the kids to learn nothing about our history. That's just bad news. That's bad policy. We can't have that. It wouldn't be right. The same history that people my age and other people who are in public office right now, they didn't do too bad getting educated through the school system they went through with that same curriculum for the most part. And the history, it ain't changed. It ain't morphed into something different than where it originally is and was and always will be. The truth is still there. But they don't want young people, or anybody for that matter right now, They ain't supposed to know anything about America's history. Trying to whitewash everything. Why? Why? I mean, if it would, it must be that bad for Republicans for sure. So I always want to mandate that we're not going to allow this kind of information to be put out in the school systems. We don't want these kids to, if they're white, we don't want them to feel ashamed. Well, since their ancestors and forefathers did all these dirty deeds and atrocities that, most of us already know about, they can't let that next generation or two generations underneath somebody my age to know about. Like, they ain't gonna be able to find it out in this age of information. Y'all got to be crazy. It's just ridiculous. But desperate times calls for desperate measures, I guess. So you go, Republicans. Keep the hope alive. Well, let me look at a few things involving a few. Well, let me see what's up with Trump today. My boy Donald. Let me see what's he been up to. Well, it kind of looks like he finally achieved a lifelong goal or dream of his, whereas he finally got him a job. Trump ain't really been known for his working habits and his work integrity and having that work ethic, but he finally got him a real job after he screwed up the job as president. He finally got a job, and Mickey D's hired him on as a server. I mean, I saw him on video. He behind the grill. He's back here, putting those fries together. See, he was just envious because VP Harris had a job at McDonald's, and just like the military, he never served. So this was his opportunity to make amends for that and make up for lost time. So I believe, honestly, he just went there to get a meal. That's just me. But between him and the Hamburglar, he wants to be the boss anyway. So he wants to knock Mary McCheese out of his spot so he can be the big boss. But I know he's happy now, so he could probably get a good night's sleep knowing that he learned how to put some fries and transfer them from the oil in a basket and dumped them. So kudos to him. Well, not only old dumb Donald got a new job working behind the fryer at McDonald's, he's so senile and stupid. He didn't even realize what day he was going to attend the football game, the Steelers game tonight on Fox. So what Fox did, because they dirty. They went on a backstab little orange face and announced before the game that two Steelers Hall of Famers, two legends, Jerome Bettis and Mean Joe Green, they are publicly supporting VP Harris. I think Trump's going to need one of those terrible tiles just to dab his little peepers. Oh, the shame of it all. I don't know why Fox be that dirty, but Fox and Trump, they just play games back and forth. It's a love-hate relationship with those two. It's a shame. And since old Trump, he believes and prides himself on bringing the best to all his events. Their campaign, the barrel is so damn low, and they scraping at it all the time to find some good entertainment, somebody that's on the A-list. They couldn't book Roseanne, I guess, on Saturday, so they had to settle for someone that's almost on a par with Kanye West. None other than Antonio Brown, a former NFL player who is nuttier than a damn payday candy bar. Now, this fool thought it was cool to tell all of the Megatroids at the rally that Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's running mate, a man in his 60s, couldn't cover him on the football field. He got about 2 or 3 yucks from the crowd. If anybody knows anything about Antonio Brown's history, I'm not going to go into all of it. Suffice to say, he is a fruitcake. Trump, he was seen behind the scenes at the event. It was in Pennsylvania. I think it was. Was it? No, it wasn't. I don't know if it was in Latrobe, but anyway, it was in Pennsylvania, and him and Antonio, had a little love fest going on behind the scenes. It's all good, but those are the kind of people that Trump gravitates to, and vice versa. So, it's always like it's a match made in heaven with them. Well, Trump always says he hires the best lunatics his people can find. So, since the NFL don't want Antonio Brown no more, Trump team is like the garbage man. They pick up trash on a regular basis. Now, old Trump, he's up there crying the blues right now because old Fox and Fools, they criticize him too much according to him. So he's asking them to please stop criticizing me. He's asked them for a 19-day moratorium until the election's over. I think they should stop all those criticizing ads that they're running against him on TV. He's just in poor shape. I don't know what Fox does that to him, but anyway. Also, we all found out today, at least I did, and discovered that old Pee Wee Donald is concerned with other matters instead of policy and the border and matters like that and fiscal responsibility and whatnot. Trump, he worried about something entirely different right now. Specifically, he worried about the size of a dead golfer's junk. A man, namely called Arnold Palmer, one of the legends of golf. The only a pervert like Trump would be fascinating enough to tell the whole world how much he fantasizes over another man's Johnson because he don't quite stack up himself. Sad. Just sad. Pitiful. And people still think this man has the mental capacity to handle the nuclear codes. It's amazing. This guy, Trump, well, I guess the liar in chief, he understands that there's a bigly difference. Bigly in the size of a mushroom versus a cucumber. Vegetable joke appropriate here. You know what else is interesting to know about my man Trump? He constantly wants to make an issue about VP Harris's skin color, and he feel like he's the only one in the race whose skin color there's no problem with it. Well, I take it like this. He's complaining about her being black, and he's the only one whose skin color is orange. So my question is he related to a pumpkin? I'm just asking. Somebody help me out. Moving along to some of the Republican jellyfish that serve in offices around the country. These politicians, so-called politicians, these lawmakers, They break their fucking necks to kiss Trump's pasty hiney whenever they have to volunteer to defend anything that comes out of Trump's mouth that is stupid. First, there was Lindsey G, Mr. Graham. The G probably stands for... Never mind. I ain't gonna go there. Anyway, Lindsey was on the Sunday morning shows and almost had a damn stroke trying to protect Trump from all the accusations and everything involving the veracity of his character and blah, blah, blah. I mean, Lindsey was just livid. Just going off. The man is... He's a super Trump supporter ever since he made that little pilgrimage a few years ago down to Mar-a-Lago, and I think Trump must have told him something personal that Lindsey didn't want nobody else to know about. But Laura Loomer, she came out with it a few weeks ago, but I ain't trying to start nothing, y'all. I got a sneaking suspicion. This is my theory. Not a conspiracy. It's my theory. I believe Trump, knowing the rattlesnake he is, I think he's kind of fed Laura Lunatic a little bit of info, some intel on Lindsey. And, she decided to go ahead and I think Lindsey, maybe Trump, knowing the kind of mind he's got, which is that of a lizard, he probably thought that Lindsey wasn't doing enough lately, and is kind of slipping on his job as far as being a surrogate, and hadn't heard Lindsey coming out too demonstrative lately, so I believe he had to shake him up a little bit. So I think he fed Laura a little bit of info, and she put it out on social media. And then you see lately Lindsey's been coming back up to the table, being vociferous about defending Donald. So that's my opinion. I could be wrong, could be off base, but you never know. So, anyway, I'm gonna leave Lindsey alone because he probably got a lot of things he got to tend to right now. Then there's old Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, and we tried to convince Jake Tapper on his show this morning that Trump didn't threaten the American public or the Dems with the National Guard. He didn't mention Nancy Pelosi or Adam Schiff's name. No. According to the governor, Trump, he was only referring to all the black protesters and gangs of immigrants crossing our borders, etc., etc., etc. Even though Trump said many times he would go after the enemy from within, like Kamala was talking about. Trump said it. All of us have been watching TV. We saw the video. We saw him say those words and all the stuff he normally pontificates on. We all saw it. But Governor, no, he one of those people that's going to keep on trying to convince you that what you saw is not what you saw. So after Jake just kept on, letting Governor Youngkin know, nah, I ain't buying what you're selling. Don't even try it. It ain't gonna work here. It ain't gonna work. You can try to deny it all you want, but no. It ain't happening today. No. We standing by what we heard, and that's just the way it is. So finally, I think Youngkin just got exasperated and just finally stood up and did a Michael Jackson spin, and poof, he just vanished. You remember the time. And also, it's funny. This coffee's good. I'm sorry, folks. Ain't it funny how when the Capitol was under siege on January 6th, my man Trump, he couldn't recall how to contact the National Guard during a time of crisis. But when it comes to minorities and tightening them up and putting them back in check, he always seems to have access at the ready and won't hesitate to deploy them on us, the citizens. Oh, that's that old Putin in him. So, yeah, that's my boy. That's my former felon. You know, he never seems to let us down. But you know, the more this election gets closer and closer, I've always said to people that Trump is going to continue to unravel. And most people have said the same things who have been observing him. He knows every day that clock is ticking, and every day that goes by, it's getting closer to a time where he just don't know what's going to happen. But one thing he does know he's going to do, if he loses, ain't no way in the world. He didn't do it in 2020. You know damn well he is not going to walk away from this and shake anybody's hands and say, you know, I fought a good race. The best lady. Oh, hell no. Hell no. No. Mm-mm. No. I just thought about that when I was going to say it myself. And it shook me for a minute. You know what kind of reverberation is going to have for Trump when he has to acknowledge, if it happens like that, he's got to acknowledge a woman, not just any woman, a black woman, bested him, beat the great Donald Trump, and he, in effect, would be a two-time loser because he couldn't beat Joe. And if he loses to this black lady, oh my God. Come on now. Nah. I don't know how he gonna act. Let me tell y'all something, folks. And he ain't gonna act right. He ain't gonna act right. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it like it. He ain't gonna act right. I'm gonna leave it mildly. Oh man, can you imagine Trump giving a concession speech? That's something else he's never done before in his life. Concede to any kind of thing that spells out defeat. No, that's the end of his reign of terror on November the 5th. If he loses. MAGA people, you know they're going to lose their minds anyway, what's left of it. But Trump, I don't know what he can do for an encore after January the 6th. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting. Anyway, folks, that's all I got for right now. So much stuff to talk about, but I don't want to cram it into one setting. I'll be back on you guys, maybe even tomorrow, and pick up where I left off, because in the world of Trump, always plenty of news to go around, folks. And y'all know that, and I know it. So, hey, have a great evening. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great day for some of you. And I will be talking to you soon. Take care. I am